On the Wake Up Radio presents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
Greetings, Black family, friends, allies, and enemies. Welcome to On the Wake Up Radio. I am your host, DC Radical One, and you have entered the center. Shout out to our wonderful producer. We got a lot of people in there. Still getting myself together. My humble apologies for that. Before let me greet everybody. Before you got ripped off. Before they straight black pride, brother Elijah. Before they straight black pride, brother Kevin. Before they straight black pride, sister Vanessa. Before they sister Simone. Before the real black gentleman. And black power to untamed audio. So tonight's gonna be a short one. Well, I don't know what it is. I'm having trouble adjusting my mic. Before they straight black pride to brother Crow. Y'all give me a one. Y'all can hear me. Me and the mic is trying to get my setup right. I feel comfortable tonight. This was a last minute change on what I was going to talk about. Some of y'all might have saw the earlier notification. It's going to deal with athletes. Change that the last second. Well, not the last second, but metaphorically speaking. And all right, I appreciate that. But I like this Kamala thing. It's all over the news. I heard some people talking about it, through the day. And I said, well, you know what? Let me see what the people think. Greetings to Asafo. Because when she was first, once it became obvious that she was going to be the nominee, I saw a lot of brothers against her. But now there's a lot of positive press. First of all, get back to and I saw the type of money she raised, and I said, you know what? Let me talk about this, because this is a phenomenon. So first of all, before I get started, I want to announce that this Thursday, 2 days from now, I have a new show, new format. Brother, you got ripped off. He wanted me to spit out my coffee. Before they to brother pro black and plant based. That's a mouthful right there. Oh yeah, new show, new format. I'm talking about black love and relationships. It's gonna be called right now SBL Talk. Y'all know what SBL is. That's straight black love talk. This Thursday, 9:00. You should have received a notification for it in your phone or other digital device. So yeah, we're gonna start that up this week and see how that goes. Like I said, I got some, maybe one. I might have one or two guests. I'll see how that goes. See what people say, and if anybody has any ideas for subject matter for that show, y'all, shoot me an email if you follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1. Shoot me a shoot me a DM. But this Thursday, this Thursday is going to be we're going to talk about can straight black love thrive in here in the hills of North America, as they used to say. All right, so speaking of straight black love and not straight black love, let's talk about Kamala. There's some things that I find extremely disturbing about her acceptance in the black female community, because to me it shows something about how women psychologically. Now, before I get into any articles or anything, I'm going to recount a phenomenon that I remember, right? So in what was that, 2012, 2013? Somebody let me know what year Scandal came out. Right. Now, when I talk about olden times, last century, when I was young, which was last century, here in the DMV, unless you went way out to Montgomery County or something, or way out to Virginia, which was like a whole nother world. The idea of sisters like being attracted to Europeans was like blasphemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just be completely honest. At that time, like I said, just here in the area I grew up, I can't speak for places that I didn't traverse in my youth. Yeah, black women just 2012, appreciate that. Black women did not they didn't deal with, I mean, it was just, I never heard no sisters praising no European. I never saw them like hyping no Euro up. I don't care if it was actor. I don't care who it was. I just ain't see it, right? Now maybe they was hiding from me. Like when I was growing up, like there was no, like I didn't have any aunts or cousins or anything talking about Brad Pitt or whoever was the person back then. Cause that's a long time ago. But now, man, we're in a whole different world. And for me, I attributed it to, of course, there's the latent Christianity and European Jesus on the wall and all that. But I attributed it to, like, Scandal broke open the idea of, like, think about it, right? Now, y'all tell me if I'm tripping. The corporate boss babe negress with the European male. Is that not basically what a growing percentage of our women aspire to be now? Right? Think about it. Like, hey, y'all tell me if I'm making up stuff. And now look at Kamala Harris. Is she not the embodiment of Scandal, except instead of having to sleep around with the president to just I don't know what position or whatever. I never watched the show. But now she has slept around to be within heartbeats of the presidency. Right? Like, we don't really think about it, but literally she can become the president of the United States at any moment. You see what I'm saying? So more so than any modern show. Again, like last time I was talking about 24, right? Now we're living in if she were to become president. Now we're living in scandal, except kind of inverted. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look at, because I'm not gonna be long tonight. I'm trying to get off here by 9:30. I didn't come in here with a lot of energy. I would just be completely honest. I'm a little disgusted with our people, because at what point are we going to gatekeep blackness? Right? I mean, I think we all should be mature enough to understand, basically, if someone is 50% of something, like Ms. Harris is 50% Indian, like there's no one is debating that issue, right? And every black person in the Western Hemisphere who is a descendant of enslaved people is automatically less than 100% black. So even if she was 90% black, but even if her father was 90% black, which if you looked at him, you know that's not the case. More like 75, right? You cut that in half, you're talking about like 37.5% black. How is that a black person? I mean, anyone wants to correct me. Anybody, look, if you're not listening now and you happen to stumble upon the show, you want to write me a long dissertation, feel free. I may even invite you to a future show, because I want somebody somewhere to prove to me that this is a black person. At least with Obama, you could make the argument that his father was from, what was his father from? Kenya, and was blue black. And his mother was 100% white, as far as we know. So we could say, okay, he's 50% black. And we saw how that turned out. Like, everyone forgets. Obama wrote that he signed a bill protecting the police in the midst of the police gunning down black people every single day. Right? Like, we just forget this stuff. Like, the details we forget. He signed legislation to give all the money to the criminals instead of to the people when he first walked in the door. So my disappointment is, how many times can we fall for the same thing before we just have to declare that we're stupid? Now, I know our esteemed audience here is not going to be bamboozled. As Eddie Murphy said, fall for the banana and tailpipe. I got, when I heard that line in that movie at first, it didn't mean nothing to me. Years later, hearing some things about Eddie Murphy is like, you know what? Did you write that line yourself? But anyway, I digress. Real Black Gentleman says Kamala is a lowercase black person at best, but she's free to claim light skin. Yeah, she's been cosplaying as black since Howard. You know what I'm saying? Since good old Howard University. We got Brother Salahuddin Abdul Aziz. She's not even a mulatto, bro. Like, she's less than that. And I can't even call her a traitor, because if you're less than 50% black, she's loyal to really, she's loyal to her own interests. Like, and worse than that, who she married to. Did y'all see y'all saw the thumbnail, right? Did y'all see the thumbnail? I put her husband and his 2 children. That's her family. Her family consists of a small hat, 2 small hat children. That's 3 small hats, and her. She's in a Jewish household. Do we really think she's going to go against their wishes when this person's beside her every day? And Sister Farnessa says her father has never said he was black. And Jamaican is not a race. Yeah, Jamaican is not a race. I haven't heard her father say anything one way or another, but I know just looking at him, I know he's not 100% black just looking at him. So that makes her less than 50% black. So I don't need any further details on the subject. You know what I'm saying? But we know she's definitively 50% Indian. We know that part. Like that, no one argues that. So I just question how if you know the other 50% is less than, how do we get here? How do we get to the point of not recognizing the ridiculous symbolism and pandering again? You said like, see, this was the first time I'd be like, yeah, people get excited. It's the first. We all fall for it. Well, not all of us, but most of us. But at some point, we have to show some type of political maturity, some type of group intelligence, some type of intelligent skepticism. You see what I'm saying? Like, at what point does that kick in where you're like, yeah, I don't know, right? And what's so interesting, man, is that I'm not surprised. I think I kind of predicted this. The media has done a complete 180, right? Brother Plant-Based said, you and your fiance were just talking about, okay. The media has done a complete 180. All of a sudden, all the polls have changed, right? All of a sudden, she's neck and neck. In some places, she's ahead. In some of the polls, she's ahead. BBO, Straight Black Pride, Straight Black Song, right? Just like magically, all of a sudden, the hats have released all the money. She getting money hand over fist. So, I mean, this is obviously a hat operation, right? And they're getting ready to make a move to oh yeah, no question, brother. It's a lot of deep, absolutely. This is obviously a hat operation to make it so that they can make the move on Trump and place her in, which places in her husband, who's the hat. And again, I'm getting ready to look and see if I can see how much money I can win because I don't think she announced it yet, so I got to be quick. I got to see how much money if I can win if I bet on what's the guy's name? Shapiro, right? I got to see how much money I can win because I called that a while ago, and I might as well see if I can get paid from it. So anyway. Yeah, that was on my mind. Let me read this first article because you see what it says. Black women propelled a massive donor surge for Kamala Harris. Brother Saul said, you're not going to pin that on him, brother. All right, let's get to this article. It says Black women propelled a massive donor surge for Kamala. Democratic donors who are reluctant to fund President Joe Biden's re-election campaign are putting their chips. Wait a minute, hold on. Make some adjustments here. Here we go. Putting their chips on Kamala Harris' presidential bid. This is from Jahan Jones. And he writes for MSNBC. All right, what are the chances that Jahan Jones is actually straight? You say Brother Shapiro's name was brought up? Yeah. I mean, that's what I predicted. What, 3 shows ago? That's what I said. I need to go put money on it. But it might be too late. You might make the announcement before I can find somewhere to win free money. Let's see. All right. In our post-Citizens United world, I'm glad they mentioned that, where donations are considered speech, Okay. I give him credit for the writing of this article already. I'm glad he brought that forward. The flood of donations to Harris's campaign after President Joe Biden withdrew on Sunday spoke volumes. If money talks, this rush of flood sounded like relief, excitement, and even what? Pride. We're so proud of everything except what we're supposed to be proud of. Let me continue. All things Democrats are sorely missing with Biden atop the ticket. Harris will finally get a chance to quote-unquote prosecute the case against Donald Trump as she sought to do when she ran for the Democratic nomination in 2020. And many people are eager to see it. On Sunday night, the organizers behind the group, Win with Black Women, hosted a Zoom call featuring activists and influencers. More than 44,000 people joined the call. The group said it raised over $1.5 billion during the $1.5 million. Yeah, that would be crazy. My bad. Y'all forgive me for that. If she raised $1.5 billion, I'll probably just try to find some money and leave the country. That would be crazy. All right. Let me try this again. Group said they raised $1.5 million during the 90-minute call, signaling a surge of Black women-led support for Harris. Black folks, Black women in particular, were some of the most vocal critics of the campaign, led by Democratic insiders and backed by some media pundits to get Biden to withdraw from the 2024 race. Their concerns were primarily due to a belief that Democratic power brokers would try to select a nominee to leapfrog Harris and lead a post-Biden ticket. Oh my goodness, there's Joyless Reed, as y'all call her. Let me go back. In that light, the gathering coordinated with Win with Black Women was a show of force, demonstrating that Black women, a voting bloc Democrats rely on to win the White House and races for the House and Senate this fall, are firmly in Harris's corner. And we should be cautious not to assume fundraising success necessarily results in electoral success. However, it signals a palpable energy surrounding Harris at this moment. On Monday, the Harris campaign announced that it had raised $81 million in its first 24 years across the campaign. Democratic National Committee and joint fundraising committees, that was even higher than the previous record for this year, the $50 million that the Trump campaign reported raising 24 hours after his felony conviction in New York. Meantime, the fundraising platform ActBlue processed tens of millions more up and down the ballot, according to New York Times analysis, making this a massive fundraising moment for the Democrats. Let's stop right here. Is our producer here? None in here. Here's why I'm saying this. Our producer of On the Wake Up Radio into doing YouTube. I wasn't even doing YouTube. When she needed funding to take her platform to the next level, it wasn't no Win with Black Women trying to do that. Right? So I'm like a lot of kind of personally offended. It's just being completely honest. Like, we cannot unite to do anything positive in the community. Right? We got various organizations, I'm not gonna name names, who are doing work. Right? They could use $1.5 million. In fact, ask them. The Anti-Sexualization of Children movement is a nonprofit that people could donate to, get a tax credit. In fact, I need to get the website so I can start putting the link in the description. They could use $1.5 million to help fight against the sexualization of children. Right? On the Wake Up Radio and on the OTW2.com, we can use $1.5 million. Right? It's a lot of organizations doing some work. They could use $1.5 million. credible organizations. But we keep giving it to Black Lives Matter, Kamala, Joe Biden, Barack. These people don't need our money. They got hat money. They don't need our money. Brother Crow in the super chat says Kamala Harris is part of the CFR. These hats are control of the CFR and the Trilateral Commission. She's part of the Council of Foreign Relations. I didn't know, but I figured that even if she wasn't, I figured she would be invited to WEF soon. So thank you for that, bro. Appreciate that. $5 super chat there. How many black businesses could we, if we can just think about this, if we could just come up with $1 million overnight, right? Not even overnight, in 90 minutes. How many black businesses can we fund? How many people have businesses up and running that could just use a grant of $100,000 for a new internet service? Right? Like, how, you understand what I'm saying? Like, how many homeless people in people's community could be housed if we can just raise money like that overnight? But we're spending money to help a person who has already been apparently crowned by the Democratic Party and the Democratic power brokers, who are the hats. That's who they are. Real Black Gentleman said fake news list. Man, the amount of positive news that has come out has been, I mean, it just came out of nowhere. It's been a flood, and I'm like, really? Let's see. Says, Finance says women better get to the range and practice because they're setting us up when the Brahmin is defeated in November. Let me tell you something, sister. I've been saying this for a while. I want to be wrong, but y'all know how much that happens. These Europeans are not playing with nobody, but especially us, because it's easy to always target us. As I played previously, if Mr. Trump loses this election while he's looking like he's been winning, people are going to get hurt. That's all to it. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, whenever a mass of Europeans get mad, as I have said before, and I'm going to say again, the people who get hurt are going to be black people. And this is a reality situation. That's why what I really want to see is a narrative that our votes are split. And I want us to actually split our votes, because at least that means that people are at least thinking and having some type of healthy debate or discussion. But it looks like we're headed back towards the, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. We saw how that worked out, right? Brother Kevin says, hats donated that money for the campaign. Where's the 1.5 mil come from? Because there's no way black women have that kind of money overnight. Well, bro, remember they said influencers and what up? Let me see the article again. Let me bring that back up. It says something about influence. You gotta think about it. If you take influencers, right, which means you got some. It means you got some digital ladies of the evening there. They got money to spare. You take some you take some black professional women, some lawyers, because I heard that a lot of them were sorority sisters. Like, there's some sorority sisters with money. They have debt, but they have money. Like, they can find the money for this. So yeah, black women can come up with that money, because if you start bringing up celebrities and influencers, remember they'll start. Kamala Harris not black, so the definition of black, for all we know, one of the Kardashians might have donated $100,000, and in this game she's black. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really doubt it, because the who's black discussion gets real expanded when it's time to get free money. So that's that. But let me get back to the article real quick. It says, meantime, major donors also jumped into the fray. NBC and CNBC report that several big donors who had suspended donations to Biden, including heiress Abigail Disney, have said they're ready to throw their money behind Harris. Politico reported that Future Forward, the flagship super PAC blessed by Joe Biden, received $150 million in new commitments from major Democratic donors in 24 hours since the president announced he would step aside from the race. So these are the people that just told him they would hold their money and wait until they would hold their money unless he stepped off. And the Hollywood reported that big money Harris backers in Los Angeles are preparing to support her bid as well, in part to counter tech bros who've been backing Trump. And Trump's tech bros are coming by way of JD Vance. Democratic donors, big and small, who seem reluctant to bet big on Biden, are pushing their chips to the center of the table and appear set to go all in on the Harris campaign. So, looks like the fix is in. So, what we're going to do is we're going to check out this check this video where they discuss Harris's new financial windfall.
And Harris got some welcome news from the Garden State this morning when she learned that all of New Jersey's Democratic delegates pledged their support for her during an emergency meeting last night. Senior correspondent Brenda Flanagan spoke to some of those delegates about hitting the reset button in this election.
We have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination.
Riding a new blue wave of party enthusiasm, Kamala Harris campaigned in swing state Wisconsin today. She's already the Democrats' presumptive presidential nominee, backed by 33 state delegations and counting, including all of New Jersey's pledged delegates.
I'm really excited. And, I think we in California put Harris over the top last night. So that's pretty exciting.
Atlantic County Committee Chair Michael Suleiman was the first New Jersey delegate to endorse Harris, even though he had reservations about swapping candidates so late in the race. He notes voting by mail in New Jersey starts in just a couple of months, but he sees more campaign volunteers already signing up,
particularly amongst communities of color, African-American women in particular. So I think that's going to help.
And Suleiman thinks Harris could have New Jersey coattails for Democrats in U.S. Senate and congressional races.
I think it's certainly going to help Andy Kim. I think he's certainly the odds-on favorite now to beat his Republican opponent. And look, in some of our swing districts, District 7 with Altman, District 2 with Salerno.
Democrats are banking literally on this new enthusiasm. Harris raised more than $81 million in grassroots donations during her first 24 hours as a presidential candidate. But will she perform any better than President Biden against Donald Trump? The issues haven't changed.
The border, crime, quality of life, affordability. And, she is, well equipped to deal with that.
A new Reuters Ipsos poll taken yesterday and today put Harris up by 2 points over Trump, 44 to 42, with a 3-point margin of error. Monmouth pollster Patrick Murray says the campaign basically hit a reset button.
The question is it going to get her any new voters? I think looking at these numbers, where we are right now is back to the starting point where we were before the disastrous debate in June.
He says Harris can redefine herself and the race, effectively distance herself from Joe Biden.
Kamala Harris is only slightly tied to that. See, she can move away from that, and she can focus much more on the negatives about Donald Trump, and that could change the dynamic. So we'll have to wait and see.
I think many of us are hopeful that Vice President Harris will take a different approach.
Democrat Sadaf Jaffer says 2 of New Jersey's delegates remain uncommitted because they ran on a Justice for Palestine, Ceasefire Now platform. She notes Harris has been outspoken on the war in Gaza.
As Israel defends itself, it matters how. The United States is unequivocal. International humanitarian law must be respected. Too many innocent Palestinians have been killed.
The Democratic coalition was fracturing on this issue, and we need every single vote. And so, I've done a lot of service for this party, but I think that we need to abide by the values of our party and the reason why people vote Democratic.
Jaffer says uncommitted delegates in New Jersey and across the U.S. want Harris to stop the sale of bombs to Israel, and says they'll be watching when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaks to Congress in Washington tomorrow. I'm Brenda Flanagan, NJ Spotlight News.
All right. So that, the Palestine thing, that's going to be interesting, because I don't know how, she's going to finesse people into thinking that she isn't pro-Israel while she's married to a hat. Thank you, brother. I'm trying to figure out how that works. Oops. Try that again. I'm trying to figure out how that's going to work, because if we remember, there were a lot of people in Michigan, and it was another state that were, because Michigan has there's a lot of Arabs and Muslims that live up there, right? That's why the nation started up there back 100 years ago. So it's gonna be interesting how that works. Claiming human rights and blah blah blah. Because let's just be honest with the whole Palestine thing this quickly. It's just like Ukraine. It's just like NATO. The U.S. don't sell them the weapons. It's over. All that stuff is over. Israel is over. Ukraine is over. Europe is over. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of this stuff exists except for the United States military. None of those people can defeat their foes in a straight up, even one-on-one battle. Right? So to say, talk about human rights and all that, it's all double talk. Like, you get in the war tonight, you just say, hey, look, not giving you no more weapons. Or you could just really say, you know what? Israel is actually the problem. Why don't we just remove this from the map? All right, now we're done. if we want to be serious about it, like if we want actual permanent solutions to the problem, like there's one country that's always in a conflict, you just move them out the way. Problem solved. But we know that's not realistic, but I'm just saying. So anyway, let me see. What are y'all saying? She's going to win because heroes don't want any woman to be president, period. I wouldn't say that. It's just that a non-Yoruba female in a time with war and conflict and everything, that's not what they do. And Brother Real Black Gentleman said, look at that poll magic. That's how she's at 44 to 42. What's the other 14%? Does RFK ain't got 14%? Nah, it's probably 10% undecided minimum. And RFK almost sided with Trump. You got ripped off, said, I bet she still supports AIPAC. Absolutely. Yep. Excuse me. Y'all, I don't even have it loaded up. Our good sister, she already told you what's up. Nobody defies AIPAC. And well, almost nobody defies AIPAC, period. And very few people defy AIPAC and go on to have a political career. Right? It was a black dude I think in New York. You got ripped off, help me out. He said something and AIPAC came after him. Next thing you know, he back to doing whatever he was doing before he became an elected official. He was out of there immediately, right? So let me see, what other articles do I have? Yeah, our good sister, Dr. Cynthia McKinney. I play her clip almost every time. I just didn't load it up this time. But yeah, she put it on the table and nothing has changed. In fact, it probably has gotten worse since then. BB48 to Chris. Things have gotten worse since then, right? Like there's more of since the Citizens United case. First of all, how many people remember the Citizens United case? Put a 1 in the chat. I think one day I'm gonna do a show on that because that really changed the game, and it basically just turned politics into it's just legalized bribery. That's what's happening. But the Citizens United case, which was funded by the Koch brothers, who are actually the Koch brothers, because ain't no way you spell Koch K-O-C-H. Right? When Ed Koch, the former mayor of New York, his name is Koch. He spelled his name the same way. But so the Koch brothers, they opened up the floodgates for money. And so that's why we have this discussion now about 1.5 million overnight, 150 million here, 400 million players, and all this other stuff going on, right? So you can receive endless robocalls and mail-ins, and maybe even people knocking on your door. You know what I'm saying? To try to quote unquote get out the vote. Now let's see. Here we go. Let's go with this one. It says they're back. This is the Hollywood Reporter. I thought it was a Hollywood Insider. Literally overnight, big dollar Democratic donors who've been nervously sitting on their checkbooks since Joe Biden's debate debacle has been lining up to shower millions on their candidate. Now, I'm gonna say this. I said this before, and then I heard somebody else say this. So it makes me think I was right. But y'all remember when I said I think that that debate was a setup, that they really knew how bad a shape he was in, so they like, you know what? Just let him go out there. Let him go out there. Let him go out there and make a fool of himself. And so we have a reason to move him out the way. Jamal Bowman, thank you, brother. That's New York, right? So I think that's what happened. I think it was low-key a setup so they could move him out the way anyway. But I don't think Kamala was their initial plan. I think that's just kind of I think the hats made them. But everybody falls along with it because it falls into the black people or quote unquote black woman narrative, right? And every time I think about it, just you said, Brother Kevin says Kamala has endorsed crowd Crowd Strike. Yeah, Crowd Strike were the ones that put out the fake story about Russiagate with Russia and Donald Trump. They were behind it. So yeah, so of course she's down with it, you know. So yeah, that's one set of hats, hatting it up against another set. All right, let's read this article, man. I said I ain't gonna be here long, so look, it's almost 9:00. It says it's hidden behind a fortress of foliage, so it's hard to say what exactly it looks like. The other houses in this verdant patch of Brentwood, about a mile north of Sunset, vary in architectural styles from terracotta top Mediterranean casas to multi-million-dollar mid-century clapboards. But try to zero in on this gated 35,000 square foot bedroom by using Google Maps Street View, and all you'll see is a blurry splotch. The property has been digitally obscured by request for privacy. So how much you got to pay for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much you got to pay for that? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, since that's a thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Now, this is where Kamala Harris, at least when she isn't camped out at the vice president's residence at the Naval Observatory in Washington, D.C., about a 10-minute drive from the White House, potentially Harris's next domicile. So she lives in California. Well, oh yeah, she is from California. All right, never mind. It isn't discussed much. It's not something people immediately think of when they think of Harris. Not as well known of her public persona as her childhood in Oakland or her early years as a Bay Area prosecutor. But that house in Brentwood makes it true just the same. The possible next president of the United States is an Angelino. Considering the dumpster fire that California is. My goodness. Anyway, over the past 24 years, that suddenly fascinating fact has left this town giddier than it's been since Barbenheimer. Literally overnight, big dollar Hollywood Democrat donors who've been nervously sitting on their checkbooks since Biden to June 27th debate debacle have been lining up to shower millions on the hometown girl who's rather unexpectedly now finds herself poised to be the Democratic Party's nominee for president. Not really unexpected. I mean, I called it. But anyway, the thing is, Gus is a top Democratic consultant and fundraiser with deep ties to Hollywood. We haven't had a president from Los Angeles since Ronald Wilson Reagan. A President Harris would change the power structure in ways we could not have imagined. The political center of the Democratic Party would be firmly based in LA, just as it was with the Republicans under Reagan. California has been growing in power and influence over the past decade, and Kamala's run would cement that shift. People will look to this city to gain access and attention, and there's nothing Hollywood loves more than being the center of attention. Harris doesn't broadcast her ties to Hollywood. No shrewd politician would. But they do indeed run deeper than her neighbors, who include Gwyneth Paltrow, Gisele Bündchen, Dr. Dre, and LeBron James. For starters, her husband, law professor Doug Emhoff, possibly America's future first gentleman, used to be what? An entertainment lawyer. We talked about that a long time ago. At Balin, Rollins, and Badel, where he represented clients like Hollywood Video and the ad agency TBWA, the brain trust behind Taco Bell's Chihuahua mascot in the 90s. In fact, he's the one who purchased the Brentwood property in 2012, a year before he and Harris met, for reported $2.7 million. It's now estimated to be worth north of $5 million. I'm surprised it's only worth $5 million, to be honest. Digging deeper, the person who introduced Harris to Emhoff was Chrisette Hudlin, one of Harris's close friends who happens to be married to Reginald Hudlin. Because I was getting ready to say Reginald Hudlin. Okay. From the original House Party movie to Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained to shows like the recent NAACP Image Awards. After Harris was elected to the Senate in 2016, she and Emhoff started splitting their time between Brentwood and an apartment they also owned in DC. They reportedly own property in San Francisco as well. But over the years, the Hollywood connections sprung more and more groups. So, Reginald Hudlin's wife introduced her to Emhoff. Does anybody know Reginald Hudlin's wife is black? I'm just asking because, like, your black wife is introducing her quote unquote black friend to boy. Yeah, brother, CrowdStrike, the people who did the worldwide IT outage. I think that was just I think that was a test run. I think something else big is coming. Probably, you know what? Let me not speculate. I'm gonna just say this. Oh, no one's ever seen it. Yeah, I did a lecture on the election back in 2016. I talked about the voting machines, and they claimed at that time they were claiming the voting machines were not connected to the internet, but now we know that's a lie. If you can take down airlines and all that stuff, how easy is it to take down and reset voting machines? Because one of the tricks they did was they actually set them to negative. So, for example, if you, let's say it's Harris and Trump, and you want Harris to win, you said Trump at like minus 100. You said Harris is 0, and then you start counting. He wins by 99, but he loses by 1. Just as an example, right? So, just, man, I see some shenanigans, and I see these Urugu acting a fool, and somebody just sent them, and I haven't even looked at it yet, with Alex Jones basically saying that white people are gonna go buck wild if Trump loses, which is what I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, right? But it looks like a flim plan, but I'm gonna just be honest. Sisters, whatever extra money you got, get your concealed carry, go to the range. You got 2 months to be able to hit somebody at a decent distance. That's all I'm saying. I ain't got to tell the brothers that. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. All right, we at the 1 hour mark. This is DC Radical 1. You can follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1, on Twitter at dcradical_ONE, on OTW2, which is free speech Black woman-owned platform, at DC Radical 1. You can donate via Cashapp at $sign DC Radical 1. And you can email me at dc.radical_1 at protonmail.com. And by the way, I have not forgotten. I just haven't finished editing the 3 videos I got from Brother Genie. Also, even though he hadn't made the announcement yet, I'm gonna preliminarily make the announcement, but I'm expecting him to do his chopping it up on Saturday, August 3rd, 2 weeks before the convention. And the convention is August 17th, Garvey Day this year, 2 p.m. Right? Let's get back to the art. Oh, hold up, one more thing, real quick. Make the sidebar. The new show, the Thursday. If people want to interject to the discussion after what I'm gonna have an initial presentation, it'll be about an hour. After that, if someone wants to discuss some of the points in that, I will be making the the link available so that you can come on and voice your opinion. Now, y'all know me. Y'all know I don't do this very often. And I don't because our people don't know how to, right? So don't make me regret this. I'll say it now. We have a no N-word policy on the show. We're not N-words. We don't call ourselves N-words. We don't call each other N-words. Are we good on that? You got ripped off. Can you make sure to reiterate that this Thursday, please? Right? So I'll let people, anybody I invite, I'll let them know. But if other people, because I'm expecting, and I could be wrong, that I might get a slightly different audience for that show as it picks up. Right? Now, let me get back to this article, which, not gonna lie, is kind of boring. It says by the time Harris announced as a candidate in 2020 presidential race, she had enough contacts in LA to draw an A-list crowd at fundraisers like the one J.J. Abrams, one of the worst. I mean, that dude is a hack. He's got to be one of the worst writers in Hollywood. Absolutely. My bad. Okay, J.J. Abrams, Ben Affleck, Reese Witherspoon, Jeff Shell, I don't know who that is, Donna Langley, Jessica Alba, where they find they're up from, Mindy Kaling, Ron Meyer, Jeff Bridges, and Shonda Rhimes, if that ain't appropriate, were all early supporters. Even Leonardo DiCaprio was spotted at one event, and Steven Spielberg, even small hat, was said to have cut a sizable check to her campaign before she folded it and became Biden's running mate. She was high energy, extraordinarily personable, and really approachable, said Jenny Frankfurt, a former literary agent who now runs a script competition called The Finish Line and who hosted several of Harris's 2020 primary fundraisers. I know a lot of people knock her about the laughing, but she's joyful and she's smart. She has a great backstory about being a person of color and all that she's achieved, and she tells it well. She did give the same spiel over and over again until about halfway through her campaign. She mixed it up a little, which was appreciated. I guess she's just like, yeah, I've heard that story, but thanks anyway. Anyway, as reluctant as Harris has been to advertise her Hollywood network, it could obviously come in handy as she gears up for the likely face-off against Donald Trump. The idea of electing Kamala as the next president will get Hollywood really excited. Let's stop right here. Hollywood excited. The same Hollywood. I feel like going on a rant. The same Hollywood that's been putting out ridiculous feminist propaganda, ridiculous rainbow propaganda. The same Hollywood that's been desecrating the corpse of Star Wars. I'm not gonna lie, I'm personally offended. Been watching Star Wars almost as long as I've been alive, right? The same Hollywood that chose not to recast T'Challa, so they just eliminated the Black Panther. The same Hollywood that can't find a way to make a Blade movie when literally all you have to do have a black guy chopping up white vampires. That Hollywood. The Hollywood that hires what's the guy's name that got locked up? The Hollywood agent dude, Weinstein. The same Hollywood that had Weinstein running around acting a fool. The same Hollywood that hired Weinstein's assistant to make one of the worst Star Wars shows in the history of the known universe. That Hollywood, that's her support. Anyway, those people don't have any morals. Anyway, to be honest, a few might be crazy enthusiastic just to stick it to Silicon Valley, which has thrown a lot of support to Trump, with moguls like Elon Musk, Ben Horowitz, and Peter Thiel. Man, those people are almost as bad as Hollywood. Endorsing the MAGA ticket. Look, it's no secret that Hollywood has never been very fond of these guys. I don't know why. Says a well-known Democratic consultant. Nobody relishes the thought of these people in bed with Trump, with the Trump administration. There's a boatload of money here in Hollywood, obviously, as well as a lot of disdain for these tech bros. And I think you'll see people putting up dough just to teach these dudes they can't buy an election. So you're going to put money up to buy an election to prove to the other people that they can't buy an election. This is hat off. This is two sets of hat throwing money around to see which one can buy the election. This is ridiculous, man. Like, who seriously believes that America is still a democracy when 50% of what we're talking about has been money? And I haven't heard a Democratic proposal on policy in months. All I heard them say is, we gotta beat Donald Trump. We gotta beat Donald Trump. We gotta beat Donald Trump. I'm like, obviously, yeah, he's the major person running on the other side. Like, what else? You know what I'm saying? What else you got? Trump gonna end democracy. You're gonna end something that don't exist. Like, yeah, ain't no democracy. Democracy was over when that Citizens United decision came down. Before the K-fight. So the idea that Trump is going to end democracy like it's still around is hilarious. I mean, you got hats buying up one side and hats buying up the other side, and they trying to tell you that person's the boogeyman, and the boogeyman's pointing back at the other boogeyman, and even RFK was like, look, I'll make you a deal. He was going to endorse Trump in order to get himself a position as, I believe, Health and Human Services. Now, if he maintains the stance that he's been on for, I don't know how long now, he would then be in position to go after the pharmaceutical companies. I'm going to be completely honest. Having RFK and the Trump administration going after the pharmaceuticals with what he knows about the jab, man, please. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would love to see that. Don't know how long he'd be breathing, but in the time that he'd be breathing, he would be going to war with those people. Can you imagine the information that look, let's be clear. There's a lot of things with RFK, but there's one specific thing with RFK I didn't like, right? Start moonwalking when the hat showed up. Made him bow down to Rabbi Shmuley. But if he was on Trump's ticket and he brought the information to Trump that he knows about this jab, about Fauci, man, he would blow the lid off of this stuff. Because he's done the research. He's one of the people that I started looking at, and he was putting information out. And I was like, whoa. But apparently somebody leaked it, so that's not going to happen. But it would have been, I put it like this. Because Trump is Trump, and he just will, because he's always going to do something that's off the wall and outside the box. he would have done that. I don't know who blew up that deal. Apparently it's not gonna happen. But y'all think Kamala Harris will have somebody really investigate that type of situation, or put that type of person who's not squarely in the middle of the Democratic elite in a position like that to dig up that type of information? Because they don't know about it. He already knows about it. All you gotta do is give him the job and let him go to work, right? So I'm not gonna lie, many times I'm just like, voting local, I understand. Voting national, but it really depends on. It depends on a lot of things. Number one, depends on how much we want to have to fight these folks. That's number one. That's just honest. Number two, it depends on how many out of the box thinkers that Trump is willing to align with to dig up information that need to be dug up for people to know. Right? Brother Crow said Soros. Yeah, Soros. Yeah, I saw that. Soros donated to. Real Black Gentleman says, you have tempted to mail in yours early. Your vote early. Yeah. You say you wouldn't say November can't get here soon enough. Nah, I'm not looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to November. I'm not looking forward to football season. None of that. I'm enjoying the summer right now. So and I'll be honest, nothing else. So a lot of stuff happens that allows me to create content, because you never know what's going to happen when you wake up. By the way, Netanyahu's in town. Is that tomorrow that he's speaking to Congress? I might, depending on what he says. I kind of know what he's going to say, but I'll see. Depending on what he says and their reaction, which I know what their reaction will be, I might do a video on that. I can't stand that dude. And it's so weird that Joe Biden is virtually incapacitated, that I just want to see him just bow down and kiss his feet like he's been doing for years, while claiming he disagrees with him. And these people are so disingenuous. Joe Biden's been a complete and total slave for the hats, man, for years. Openly. Not even, he never even denied it. All right, let me see. Of course, it's possible not every Democrat in Hollywood is fired up and ready to go. For instance, it's hard to know how Jeffrey Katzenberg is taking the, you gotta ask who he is taking the news. The former DreamWorks co-founder, up until yesterday, co-chair of the Biden campaign, is no doubt still licking some wounds. For months, he's been assuring everyone who listened and write a check that Biden was in tip-top mental shape. Oh, so he's running around lying. That's all he was doing. He was just running around telling lies, because that man ain't been in tip-top mental shape in 10 years. What are we talking about here? Anyway, after Biden's catastrophic debate performance, Katzenberg suddenly found himself mired in an even bigger mess than QB. I don't know who that is. I don't get that reference. So that means Jeffrey Katzenberg wasn't. He didn't know. If this is true, he's been running around thinking that Biden was all good, and now he's sitting out there left to dry looking crazy. That's interesting. Say people are pissed, says yet another Hollywood executive, because Jeffrey asked for big checks. When people asked about the president's health, he said, "Oh, he's fine." That was just a lie. It was a total lie. Even Barry Diller, who'd been staunchly defending Katzenberg against the backlash, seems to have jumped on the Kamala train. I unadulteratedly support Kamala Harris, he told THR, adding that she'll beat Trump's broken down derriere. Still, the Katzenjammering aside, the town appears to be all in. On Monday morning, as donations to the Harris campaign set one-day presidential records, Stephanie Daley Smith, a top Kamala aide, hosted a conference call with 300 Democratic donors, most of them from LA. Among them were Reginald Hudlin, so okay, he's all in. Universal's Donna Langley, Damon Lindelof, producer manager Ellen Goldsmith Vine, producers Eric Paquet and Jamie Paprikoff, filmmaker Yasmin Delaware Johnson, who was married to entertainment lawyer Matt Johnson, one of Harris's close Hollywood confidants. Okay, improve that article. So she's 100% Hollywood hat locked and loaded. But I don't have to look up who her benefactors are because they put them out here. So this makes it even worse when I think about it, right? Going back to what we said earlier. Black women gave $1.5 million to someone who's connected with Hollywood and can get money from George Soros and Hollywood studio execs who have hundreds of, at least individually, tens of millions that they can just send out and write off. And we're lining up to give away money that we could use for black businesses or black college fund. Something positive. I'm disappointed. I know it's Boule Negroes. Y'all ain't got to tell me. But we can't do nothing positive for actual black people, not people who we know definitively are not. If nothing else, we know they're not 100% black. Like, you can't argue that part. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Let me get myself together here, man. Just the thought of it just makes me hang my head in shame. All right, let's get that out the way. And let's see, what does this article say? Oh, here we go. Harris versus Trump. Black men hold special meeting in Atlanta to discuss 2024 election. Hey, shout out to Atlanta. But let's be honest. Atlanta's not exactly the home of masculinity here, right? But let's read the article anyway. Because if you ain't down with Bob and Rudy, I'm looking at you sideways. You're from Atlanta. With all due respect. Now it says, every Monday, a large group of black men and boys get together to discuss the current state of America and politics. All right, that's cool. Get the young people involved, see what's going on. It says this Monday, the Black Man Lab held a timely discussion on the possibility of Vice President Kamala Harris running against former President Donald Trump in the 2024 election after President Joe Biden announced that he would be stepping out of the race. The reason that we gathered here tonight is that there's so much misinformation and disinformation that is being put out. So we wanted thought leaders from across the political spectrum to come in tonight and talk directly to black men about what they know, what they experience, and what some of the real statistics and facts are, said attorney Mawuli Mel Davis, who founded the nonprofit. So that's what happened. That's critically important because the sources of our information are important for us to make sure we're basing our decisions on quality information. Let's stop right here. What do y'all think? Yeah, like what do y'all think? Before I get back to this article, do y'all think that where do y'all think these people lie, and what do y'all think they think is the proper information? Since they talked a lot about mis and disinformation, y'all let me know in the chat, and I get back to this article because, as y'all know, I have not read this article in advance. Not to mention, this is from this is the local Fox channel. But we shall see. Did I go past? Did I go too far? Okay, no. I didn't. Okay. Says Monday night's meetup held at the Andrew and Walter Young Family YMCA in Atlanta was made possible by Black Voters Matter. I don't know why, but Black Voters Matter, and then Peter just went crazy and just jumped down to pee. Black Voters Matter. That doesn't sound good. With new buzz surrounding Harris possibly being the new front runner for the Democratic Party, one of the main focuses was educating people on their policies and leanings. They also made sure everyone who attended was registered and planned to exercise their right to vote this November. Right here in Swats, Southwest Atlanta, we have a lot of issues, and we want to make sure we're heard, said Andre Greenwood, the chairman of the Andrew and Walter Young Family YMCA. Greenwood said many of the people who attended were young Black men who had questions about each of the candidates in the upcoming election. All right. All right, hold on. What's going on with this article? Anyway, can y'all see that? It's just me. Is it me? All right. Me and this article are having issues. So anyway, so they came out to educate the young people. I guess I'm just going to dump this article because I can't. If I close out something else, it'll act right. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so you're with. All right. Black Voters Matter, Democratic. Yeah, I figured that. All right. Anytime I hear Black in something matter, all I think is AstroTurf hat operation. So yeah, we're gonna bypass that article. All right. Anyway, so basically that's just a meetup to get Black men to vote for Democrats, which doesn't surprise me because it's in Atlanta, Georgia. Strong, Atlanta itself is a stronghold for Democratic Party. What's interesting about America, it's not just Atlanta. What's interesting about America, and I kind of found this out when I went to a couple of trips to Pennsylvania. There's a lot of places where Black people are the center and they around city and the surrounding area of a city, and if it's like 2 big cities in the state or 3 big cities in the state, we have a large population. But like the areas outside of that are like 80% white. You know what I'm saying? Like Pennsylvania is like that. I mean, West Virginia is just 80% white, period. There's parts of Maryland, like their whole counties, it's just rural and 80% white. Like they're like, there's a part of Maryland that's basically surrounded by West Virginia and Pennsylvania. So that's all the same region, even though they're different states. So that's something you realize. That's when I started to travel. That's when I realized that. That's when I realized how outnumbered we are, because you can go through some states, you be hard pressed to see Black people. You be like, oh, look, Black people, hooray! You know what I'm saying? So, it's interesting. It's interesting how they just flip this thing overnight. You say, Sis Vanessa, you said you saw on Facebook there's an alleged movement of 35,000 Black men. Yeah, I saw that. He said, Real Black Jump says, areas you can go hundreds of miles from only dozens of Black people. Yes, indeed. All right. Do y'all want me to read these last 2 articles? Or no? It's up to y'all. Or y'all just want to chop it up for the next 15 minutes or so before I close this thing out. Let's see. Vice President Harris made a presidential campaign trail debut Tuesday with record grassroots fundraising, the largest Democratic crowd to date, and new polling showing the race is now a toss-up. Just like that, magically, voila. Insert fake negress and change the race. As former President Donald Trump began adapting to her swift ascent to the likely Democratic nominee. Vice President Harris has made her presidential campaign trail debut Tuesday. Oh, my bad. Excuse me. To a roaring crowd of thousands in the Milwaukee suburb, Harris moved to redefine the November elections as a choice between the future and the past, a president, a prosecutor, and a felon. Let's start right here. Can we be honest? As Black people, like, have we ever been on the side of the prosecutor? More importantly, has a prosecutor ever been on the side of Black people? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So that, I understand her strategy, right? That will appeal. Everything emotional. All that emotional stuff appeals to us anyway. Oh, we're so politically immature. Anyway. She arrived in this pivotal swing state with a stacked lineup of Democratic officials embodying how the party has rapidly coalesced behind her candidacy since President Biden withdrew Sunday and backed her as his successor. Biden plans to give a speech Wednesday to elaborate on his decision to step aside, which followed weeks of pressure and panic from the Democrats, fearing his deficit in polls, while fundraising would become insurmountable. But insert magic Negro and money falls from the sky. Apparently. The name has changed at the top of the ticket, but the mission hasn't changed at all, Biden said in a Monday night call at an all-staff meeting. Trump is still a danger to the community. He's a danger to the nation. Trump is a danger. I'll say something real quick. It is very likely that whoever wins the Democratic nomination is going to help lead us into World War III. Straight Black Pride Brothers rocket. Now, that doesn't mean that Trump cannot be coerced into World War III. It just means that he has to be coerced into World War III in a different way, because Trump is not going to go to war with Russia unless they prove to him that Russia did a strike first on American soil. With that being said, do not be surprised if there is a false flag operation that takes place on American soil, blaming probably Iran, probably not Russia, but probably Iran. And if I had to guess the time frame, we got August, I would say September, late September, early October. I'm putting it out here now. I do not know what it would be. I don't know if it's chemical, biological, infrastructure attack. I don't know. I'll put it on the table now. I could be wrong. Y'all know me. In these instances, I like to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't like this stuff happening. Because I live in DC. There's a high chance of whatever ridiculous thing happens. Somewhere I may be traveling. But just get that feeling. Again, I hope I'm wrong. So, all right. Maybe about 15 more minutes. What do y'all think? Here's what I think Black people should do. Not that anyone asked me for my opinion other than people who listen to this show. I think it would be prudent in this day and time to have enough people on both sides of the argument for us not to be solely blamed for whomever loses. Now, let's be being completely honest. If the Democrats lose, they're not going to do anything to us any worse than what they've done, which is benign neglect. That's what they've done for, at this point, generations. Right? We have nothing to lose there. Trump lose. It means more than a 50% chance of these people losing their mind. Him losing to Kamala? Oh, goodness. Yeah. Y'all think they're not gonna go buck wild? Y'all think they're not gonna try to start killing black people? That's why this whole thing of claiming her to be black, no sir. Nope. One, it's a lie. Two, it's detrimental to our people here in America. Puts a big bullseye on our back. And we already being burnt. But what we can see is the type of stuff we haven't seen since 1919. It's really, and I'm going off on a tangent, it's really unfortunate that people weren't able to organize around the brother NFAC. That shows the difference between what organization and mobilization. He did a fantastic job mobilizing people to repel the threat to black people. He did not have the skill set to be able to organize so that they could build something that could continue without his direct leadership. And I hate to say it, but we probably gonna be looking around wishing we had that type of militia in place to repel the type of assault that could probably coming down the pike in case Mr. Trump loses this election. Right? Depending on how it goes. Like if it's like last time where he's winning and then he would go to sleep and wake up and he lost. Oh no, them people gonna go crazy. And just be completely honest, them people gonna go crazy. Right? So I'm gonna just say this. If you live somewhere where a lot of Yurugu, or you have to like work around a lot of Yurugu or whatever, as the election draws closer, keep your head on the swivel, and you might want to visit your neighbors that live around black people for a week or two. Just being completely honest. Because this thing, as they say, buckle up. Dr. Collins say, buckle up. In for a bumpy ride. That's just how I see it. All this overt enthusiasm, whether it's manufactured or not, for Kamala, despite her record, is yeah, man, it's just making my head hurt. It really is. Again, you can follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1, Twitter dcradical_ONE, on OTW2 at dcradical1, and the Cashapp. You can donate via Cashapp, $DCRadical1, and you can email me at dc.radical_1protonmail.com. And like I said, if you have any subjects for the new show that you want covered that's dealing with black love and relationships, shoot me an email or a DM now. But the first one is this Thursday. We will be talking about, can black love thrive in the 21st century? So we're going to change up. Oh, and that's Thursday at 9 o'clock. So we're changing up the time. We change up the format. We gotta come up with some new music. Start lining up some guests. So that'll be different. So I'm gonna try that for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. See how that works. If that doesn't work, then I scrap it. Y'all know how I do. So, brothers and sisters, I said that wasn't gonna be long. I'm not. I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. By the way, last time I checked, we are about 5 or 6 away from 900. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you know somebody that's not subscribed, get them to subscribe so we can pass that threshold. Because as I have said before, and I will say again, the goal is to get fully monetized or get deleted trying. And that, we are marching ever closer to that number. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. I will see you all Thursday. This is your brother DC Radical 1. I say again, a BB for ODA and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cashapp is $DC Radical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.